I am the only black driver here for whatever reason. I don't know why I was chosen to be able to do what I do in the car. When you retire from racing and you have one or two or God knows how many world championships, what does it really mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's what you do with it.
Could you ever have foreseen when you set about racing that you would have such an impact on this sport, be it statistically or today in the far deeper impact that you're having culturally?
No, definitely not. I think I wanted to race cars. I wanted to do what Ayrton had done, something similar to what Ayrton had done. And then I got here, past Ayrton, and I mean, ultimately Ayrton would have probably got more championships if he was able to, if he had lived longer. But to surpass that is beyond my wildest dreams, and to be in this time, I never thought that I'd ever be in a time like this. I'm sure no one did. And then to be in a time where all our voices are so impactful. I'm kind of there's good parts about it, and then there's of course I wish the pandemic wasn't here for everyone, and but every day I'm trying to understand why this was sent to us, why we are faced with what we're faced with, and what are going to be the outcomes. What am I going to do in this period of time? Am I just going to squander it, or am I going to learn? Am I going to educate myself? Am I going to try to be better in certain things? Am I going to try and help somebody and impact somebody's life in a positive way? And that's the things that I'm questioning myself and asking myself on a daily basis.
Where does that come from? Is it one day you suddenly wake up and you go, you know what, I got to do something, or is it gradual that comes over time, sort of an awakening, a realization?
I think it comes with age. I think we are living in a time of an awakening of people, particularly with the whole movement that's going on. I think people are waking up and think, oh my God, we do need to do more. I just think it's just about living life consciously, being present and being and not being selfish. I'm thinking about how I guess just because of the time where I am in my life, I'm thinking about how I'm going to impact my sister's kids. How am I going to help them? How am I going to help these young kids that are following me? How can I help change the system that they have a brighter future ahead of us? Because we're kind of doomed, don't we? Yeah, I guess, I don't know. That's just something I wake up and that's the conversations I have in my mind. So that's just me.
Because the detractors will say, you're a sportsman, you're not a politician, don't get involved with things that don't concern you. But why should I listen to you about politics when I just want to watch you race cars? How do you deal with that, like that kind of a kickback from people?
I mean, I don't ever listen to it. I mean, that's just, telling me to stop one thing is not going to stop me from doing it. And I hope for everybody out there, nobody can tell you what to do, ultimately. I think I respect people's opinions. The fact is, I live in this world, not just in this world, I live in the world. Everybody's opinion matters. And the thing for me is I say one thing and it travels very, very far. So that's an unbelievable power to have that we have today in the media, being able to really push for change. If I didn't, I just feel, I wake up and I'm like, yes, it's great winning these world championships, but what does that really mean? When you retire from racing and you have one or two or God knows how many world championships, what does it really mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's what you do with it. It's the impact that you can have with it that really means something. And so I feel like I'll be doing a disservice to people, to my family, to my followers if I didn't go and win these races, and yes, we can have a good time and be uplifting, but then over here we can drive this message of change, and that's how I am.
It's almost the antithesis of being a racer. Racers have to be not just ruthless, but quite selfish to get the most out of everything.
Yeah.
To get to that point where you're thinking outward, you're thinking about others rather than yourself.
Yeah.
Does that ever hold you back on track, or is it very much visor down and you become a different Lewis to that which exists outside?
I'm one of those that believes that, because naturally people like to this is the way you have to be this, you know, to be a champion. This is what you've got to look like. This is how you're supposed to speak. This is how you're supposed to behave, and all these different things. And I do everything different. So and everybody should, because we are all different and what works for me is not going to work for the next person. So I like to encourage people, just be you, and don't let anyone dim your light, you know. So I'm evolving into a different kind of driver, you know. Like every day, people are like, what drives you every year? Like I'm always learning about the car. I'm always learning about my relationship with Bono and the things I say and how, and I can say them better, or communication can be better, and I can drive better. And I'm trying to work on all that. But then I'm also trying to, at the same time as being that ruthless go-getter, which I think is always going to be at the core of me when I'm competing, I'm also conscious, and I think that's what's actually it's played better in my racing. You've seen these races over the past years. I know when I need to push and when I need to say, okay, this is, take it and we'll build on it, you know what I mean? And so I think that's added another dimension to my characteristic as a driver, and that's why I have the wins I have, and I would say the championships.
Talk of that desire to do good. I remember in Ayrton's last years, he was always sort of spoken that he was representing more than himself. When he got onto the podium, he was representing his country, he was representing the poor, he was representing the kids that he wanted to represent in Brazil. A lot of people said if he'd lived, he might have gone on to be president of Brazil, something like that. Can you see how that would have brought more to his racing, that it's brought more to you, more mindfulness?
Of course, I think as you get older, you empathize more with, you start to understand people, and the, you know, everyone going through their own journey. And I watched Ayrton as a youngster, and I definitely as a kid didn't understand or could appreciate where he was in life because I hadn't been there. And so, but he, you know, he had such a huge impact. I mean, he moved the whole nation, you know, and not only a nation, but people around the world. He, you know, touched me so deeply and motivated me to want to go and do what he did. And now I'm of a similar age with him when he passed, and I'm more aware of my surroundings. I see everything that's happening around the world. And what I don't know, you know, what we don't know is how many days we have left. We don't really know, you know, like I don't assume that I'm going to live to 90 years old. So I want to make sure I maximize every single day that I have, and try not to get stressed if I can avoid it. Try to be healthy, try to find a nice balance where I get to enjoy, but then I see the people that I get to follow me, and if I can help lift their days up as they lift me up on the days that I'm not having the best of days, then you can have a nice kind of equilibrium.
Yeah. When you look at where the sport was when you started in it to where it is now, and I know you haven't seen the change that you would have liked to see in that time, and then we look at what you have achieved so far in the sport, but what you are achieving in terms of your statistics, you know, rewriting records that we never thought would be rewritten. You've just, I think, leveled Jim Clark with the percentage of wins to race starts, puts you third of all time. You know, you could take a 7th world title this year. What means more to you now? Is it those records, or is it having the opportunity to actually write a new future for this sport?
I am the only black driver here for whatever reason. I don't know why I was chosen to be able to do what I do in the car, and it wasn't somebody else. You know, things have happened along the way of my life, and I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm in the position I'm in today. But yes, there was a point I was like, geez, just me being here is not enough. I've got to speak up. I could do more. If I was to have retired a year ago, nothing would have really maybe nothing would have changed. I don't know. But what I love to see right now is there is this awakening. There are people slowly, still not like everyone. You still have a lot of these teams that have not saying anything and hold themselves accountable. There's still a lot of people out there, but it's finding the balance in how you engage those people. And yes, I hope in 10 years, you know, I don't want it to be a 20 years time. I hope in a short space of time we can see change. And I'm seeing people already. You're seeing Chase and the sport. You're seeing Jean, who's you know, I've had a chat with, and who has hired a lady from Jamaica who's now working on the diversity campaign for the FIA. So you're seeing things, but we need to stay on them. and that's, I guess, part of my job being here, I think, and that means more to me, because if I'm able to look back in years' time and think, yeah, I won championships, but I was a part of helping shift the outlook of this sport and making it more accessible to people all over the world. I think that would be a great thing to be a part of.
Would you swap the 7th title for that?
For the change? Sure.